Hey guys, um, do you want to say hi?
Hi.
We're here in Roanoke, Virginia. We're visiting Sarah's sister and just celebrating their 1 year old's birthday. And um, we're just having such a beautiful day that we wanted to just share with everyone about um, like partnership together in creative ventures and having fun and seeing what grows like a garden and seeing what kind of produce it can make like income or just there's so many different paths and there's so many different ways to um, like use your time uh, for income. Just thought that we would talk about it together.
Do you want to jump right into that, or do you
Hmm.
want to, before we turned on the camera, we were talking about just a very honest and real, like, reflective
Hmm.
video on the challenges
Hmm.
that come with creatively pursuing your interests
Hmm.
and with creative ventures and choosing to live outside the box. Sometimes, you know, in pursuing um, beauty, you can um, experience the fullness of life. So you experience like the emotions that come with that and the discouragement that comes with that. But that's not always seen. That light of pursuit is not always seen. Um, you know, because you're sharing something of beauty. So yeah, we were talking about that, just honestly and authentically touching on the challenges that come with, you know, either starting a business or a partnership, um, and pursuing your dreams, but doing it as a couple
Hmm.
um, can even have, you know, different challenges. And
I think one of Sarah's gifts and talents is just being able to pick up on like a science and on a like a um, the life wave patches. They I know that they help people in different like levels of it. It might take a little bit longer for some people who have had an issue for a super long time. For it, for every decade, it might take a month. Some things that I'm just like, oh, this is an ache and a pain that I feel today, and it's not like a ongoing thing, but like we put a patch on it, and it really, I feel like immediate results. Like I was just saying, Sarah, I've got this pain, that I kind of woke up with, and we're like, well, why don't we put a patch on it? And it was just like, around my hips and around like that area, um, and I don't know, just within an hour, I was feeling great. And it's just kind of amazing that Sarah can like pick up on this really cool like thing that helps with body function, like um, at a cellular level, and some things I just feel it fairly right away. Like I'm just amazed. And you know, other things, we have just our X39 patch on our backs, and it's just such a great like mainstay to um, help with just not having to feel the same pains over and over again, sooner and sooner. Like it's further and further away. Like um, weeks before I even get like a slight twinge of my my neck and back and something like that. Um, so like I've been journaling and like keeping track of my neck aches and back aches and headaches, and instead of like 3 or 4 times a week, every week, it's like every other week to 3 weeks. Sometimes it can go 3 weeks without me needing, to put ice on my neck and back. And if I get sick, then we just need more patches, because sickness kind of goes to my weak points, which is my neck and my shoulders and that kind of thing. We just do more patches.
So I'm sitting here and listening
Mhm.
and critically thinking about how does this touch on what the topic
Okay.
was regarding challenges that we face within a partnership or within creative pursuits.
Mhm.
And I don't want to answer that question because I think James
Yeah.
has the spotlight right now, but I do want to touch on it after he's done.
I think that what I'm getting at is that there is a income potential for LifeWave, but it's also something that it like increases your like quality of life and the amount of pain that you feel and mobility and being able to do more, and that can help to even make income easier, to be able to get up and go.
So you're still talking about the solution in our life, though. You're not
Mhm.
talking about necessarily like the challenges that we face while
Mhm.
pursuing our creative ventures. And one of the creative ventures is me using my nursing license, my expertise as a nurse, for the purpose of helping others more naturally using science-based technologies that I think are in alignment with health, and allowing people to be in alignment with life, whatever season that they're in. So, yeah, you're talking about like the solution, but I don't know that you're touching on like what that is for a challenge for us.
Okay. I think for a challenge, it can be like maybe wanting results quicker, or feeling like, okay, when's this gonna take off?
Mm-hmm.
And like it's hard to be what I call a steady plotter.
Mm-hmm.
Like working a field steadily every day
Mm-hmm.
to get out the weeds, to till it, and to put the seeds in the proper order and everything, and then water it and make sure that it gets enough. If it needs shade, it gets shade. If it needs sunlight, it gets sunlight.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes a while sometimes to see the results.
Mm-hmm.
But then once you start eating from the produce, it just feels amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the things that was highlighted to me while you were talking, James, was that, some of my creative ventures, I have varying ones that I feel like I've kind of tapped into in this season of my life that have always been interests, but not necessarily something I've pursued just because I've been in different seasons of my life. But using my mind and critically thinking, researching and understanding the body is a great asset,
Mm-hmm.
in pursuing LifeWave. But on the downside, and this goes for any personality type that's going to pursue something creatively, is that your greatest strength is also going to be your weakness. And so I can be very critical about, you know, the process of like, how is this going? Is this working?
What's the timeline of this?
Timeline, because timelines are important,
Mm-hmm.
but also breathing into it. And
Mm-hmm.
so for me, that is a challenge. We're not in a season right now where I can just go to work. You know, we've had our kids very close in age. They're all teenagers, and we've kind of grounded our family in a way so that we can help our kids launch and stay connected during these teen years.
And we're very active with their homeschooling and then dual enrollment with
Right.
college courses.
All
and
four
then-
of our kids are doing dual enrollment
and
this year, which is crazy, but that's where we're at.
and one of them is starting college, or is there two? Or
Dual enrollment is college.
Starting college.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
one is full-time college. Two of them are dual enrolling
Yeah.
through a community college, and the fourth one, who's doing a homeschool program, happens to have a dual enrollment that she
Yeah.
earns college credit through as well.
Yeah.
So
it's great.
it's great, but all that to say is that like we're not in this season, and my nervous system with just life and, you know, like where I'm at still in life, it's not the right season for me to be working as a nurse. So I'm working through that and seeing, okay, do I still go back per diem or part-time? And that's something we're still, you know, like walking that out. But needless to say is I have a lot to offer. I want to help our family. And so, you know, I'm pursuing LifeWave in that and trying to help women and seeing the fruit in our own lives. But, you know, my downside is that I have to walk that out and like allow that to breathe and not to just expect instant results. So that's one of my challenges. You know, I'm also pursuing just music more, leading worship in Asheville. Our girls are all growing in that. And then dance, you know, I love to dance. It's a form of intercession for me. And writing, you know, so all of that is like finding the right niche, allowing for the joy in that. But with that, it's not like we don't still need to pay our bills. It's not like, you know, we're choosing this just because we can. We're choosing it because we're choosing life, you know. And so the translation of that sometimes is it can come across as people can see my creative ventures or James's creative ventures and then like not see the authentic challenge that's behind that. Every partnership, every business, anybody who's pursuing something creatively, any couple that is like living life, there's challenges, you know. And I wanted to bring some context to this because I can sometimes feel like because we're in joy and we're pursuing joy and beauty that people can assume that we don't have those challenges or that that they're the anomaly, that they have challenges and like put us on a pedestal, and that's not the case. You know, we're very human. We work well together because we have a common faith and love and have built that over time. And, you know, we choose to work together. We choose health in our own lives and take those breaks when we need to, you know, to self-reflect or to just, you know, get with the Lord ourselves. I'm sharing a lot,
Yeah.
but he has his own creative
Right.
ventures too, and
So I can share a little bit of like a creative adventure that I've been just really pouring myself into, and the biggest challenge was kind of like knowing where the beginning was. So I've been writing a novel, and it's kind of turned into a series of novels, and
it's awesome.
and I would try to figure out, okay, I would know the character, but I I needed to kind of figure out where the true like place in their life where I needed to start, because like I knew their life story, and knowing their backstory doesn't mean you write it all into
That's important.
Yeah.
That's actually part
Yeah.
of his book that just flew
Right.
off.
So yeah, before we came here, I finished the 18th chapter, and just decided, okay, I've got, you know, not finished. I've got the next chapter. This is chapter 18 is what I'm working on right now. But like I just printed up a rough draft. It's like 215 pages like this. But this is just the first book, but it's the latest thing that I've been writing the past 6-7 months since the hurricane, that Hurricane Helene, and seeing what happened, I decided that I needed to kind of place the setting and the point in the life of the character where it's 17 years after the hurricane, but he was a child during the hurricane, and like how even 17 years there's people are still picking up the pieces after Hurricane Helene, and I know people that are working in the recovery, and it's going to be years. It's going to be years. So like that kind of okay, gave me the impetus, like all right, I can write from this place of understanding, and so it's been so much easier to write, but the stuff that I wrote before was like book 2 and book 3. So I know I've got
you've
something.
been writing this story for years, but
yeah.
it's becoming more and more honed as far as like what the actual story is.
In earnest since 2022. Since 2022. So it's been about 3 years for 3 books. But then I didn't feel comfortable releasing because I didn't like the beginning. And now I've got a beginning that I actually like. So like self-criticism on...
That's a challenge.
It's a challenge, yeah. But they say, write a sloppy, draft, and find where the true story is in it and focus on it. So, and then revise and edit and everything. So, I mean, it's just, sometimes how you feel about what you want it to be in your mind and in your heart, but what you see isn't there yet.
Yeah.
So that's a big thing. But sometimes it's good just to print it out and not just have it on a device. And so you can take a piece of pencil, pen, or something to it and get it even up to a greater level of quality.
Yeah. I want to add one more thing.
Sure.
Because, like, really, when we start to share a little bit about the struggle or like what it is that we're doing, I know that thought, because I've thought it myself, is like, okay, well, if you're doing all these things, how does that add up? Like, you're able to pursue these things, but yet you're saying it's also a struggle to pursue it, and there's a tension in that. And I know, everybody's story is a working relationship with where they're at in a particular time in their life. And we have been, I worked as a nurse for several years. We were able to get a couple of homes that had become income for us. But with that, there's also challenges. And so that has been primarily our source of income during this time so that we can be with our kids and pursue these interests. But with that, it's also evolved into, like, what is it that we're offering our community? There's a lot of need in our community, post-Helene, and just with the economy that has been going on in Western North Carolina and just the world. Our heart over time has been for women in transition, and that translates in Sarah BSN and just my own inner healing of, like, and why I pursue creative outlets more heavily in this season of my life. So with that, there's also the creative venture of, like, Sarah BSN and merging with the Haven Project and allowing our rental to be something where we can help women pursue healing in life and allow for a healthy environment to heal.
The travel nurse that we just recently rented to, she's like, this neighborhood is just perfect for where I am and where I need to be. Mm-hmm. And an acre and a half, like I think it's like a half an acre. It's not quite an acre, mm-hmm. But with in the backyard you can see the mountains, mm-hmm. And even just that alone, like, provides a place of peace, and it's.
But there's also challenge, like, we're working with people, we're helping them, walking through, and we're living our own life, and we have certain skill sets that we can easily cater to, and other things that it's like a long process to learn. So there's that, everybody in life has, tension and challenge, and we've been helping a renter for years, with getting on her feet and walking alongside her relationally, and really we're on the same page about about that. We could, we've received advice, business more advice to, like, well, scale back and focus on what the creative ventures are that you really want to pursue. Mm-hmm. But, like, that can be good advice, but we have it in our heart to continue to walk this out and allow even the challenge and tension of that to help reshape and refocus how we go about and what we're going about pursuing. So yeah, we were just talking about this, we were praying and just talking about some of the struggles we're feeling and some of the discouragement we're feeling right now.
And that does come with like being like Abraham and knowing that there's a promise, but having to walk it out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's needed to see this side, of creatives that are pursuing their dreams. I think this gives more full light to what that feels like, and how to do that. Because it can feel like if you're doing that alone and you hit a low spot, or you're hitting a challenging spot with your partner or your spouse, it can cause you to like want to run from your pursuit, and like and that can be really complicated, and it can be complicated grief. So my hope is that in us sharing today, and us sharing some of our struggle and challenges, that people will understand our story more and understand where we're at, that we're not just like pressing hardcore pretending that this is who we are and marketing ourselves in that way, but this is like really who we are, so that we can encourage other people in their pursuits to embrace the humanity of it, embrace the challenges, embrace the joys, work through things in a way that you can go visit family and can go, on little mini vacations, or, go to a lake on your birthday, pursue those joys, but, and to be honest, like not pushing aside responsibility, but like to be honest with that process. My hope is that, this can be an encouragement to someone else.
Yeah. And that you're not, if you're starting to pursue something creative, that you're not alone in feeling discouraged, or up against a wall or something, but that with having people that you can talk to can really help tear down those walls.
Yeah. We're all going to have our strengths, and we're all going to have our weaknesses. That doesn't disqualify you from pursuing your dreams. So, God bless you.
God bless.